Damage. Number 7, Ostentatious. Number 56, M. Jensen. 82, Topher Griffin. And 99, Defensive Destroyer.
And Texas men's roller derby skating in black. 126, Lambo Arfides. 151, The Enabler. 247, Hollywood Hendrick. 28, Dr. Feelgood. 448, Pound Town. 50, Mr. Taco. 505, Side of Sausage. 56, Danger Zone. 6, G.I. Joel. 619, Aqua Dan. 68, Diamond. Number 7, Tally. 808, Steve Sweat. 86, Buster. Number 9, Rhino. 915, Sweet Pea.
And then our officials today, Terabyte, Locomotive, William Moore, Extra Crispy, Derby Sanchez, Terabyte, Dolan It Out, Slash Dancer, Switzerland, Nora Leaf, and Elkaholic. Or Elkyholic, excuse me, I said that wrong.
So, this is a good game because Bridgetown out of Portland, they're ranked number 2 right now in the Men's Roller Derby Association. Texas coming in unranked, but they have a very good roster. They took an easy year. Last year didn't play games to get ranked. They're coming in. They had a great showing at Clover Cup, playing against Houston, beat them handedly. I'm really excited to see this game.
I am too. It's nice to see Texas back on the map, and I think they are out to prove they deserve to be in that top position up there with Bridgetown. I'm expecting a very physical game, and we have a few people we expected to be here, so I'm curious to see how the teams will adjust given the absence of a few of their normally key players. And I only announced the non-skating officials. Your skating officials: Umpire Strikes Back, Darth Bling, Cataclysm, Lord Lexstalt, Roger Jamjet, Robin You Blind, and Razor. And we're hoping that the officials in the center of the track have their microphones, so if there are any official reviews, they can let us know what's going on. Otherwise, we're just going to guess. We're going to make up stuff, and it's going to be the Muffin and Scarlet fun time. But we're about ready to kick things off here in beautiful Eugene, Oregon. Thanks for joining us today.
Skaters beginning to take the track. And there's no more time running on the clock, so we should be starting any moment as soon as they give us that 5-second mark.
Looks like up first on the line, jamming for Bridgetown. That is going to be number 82, Topher Griffin.
And number 28 in black for Texas, that is Dr. Feelgood.
And now, Muffin, you have you're friends with one of the coaches for Texas men's, right?
I am. She is a teammate of mine from Team Korea. It is one of the best names in roller derby, Great Wall of China. She is joined by Haley, and there's another bench coach. Oh gosh, I'm going to get her name later, and I will let you know. But also, I have other friends from Austin, Texas that have transferred to the Dallas team. There's Princess, and he is not on this roster today. And Sweet Pea, formerly known as PB&J, a very good jammer, and I saw him blocking at Clover Cup. And also his stepfather, Aquadan, or as I like to say, Aquadan, he is also transferred, and he is rostered today. I did not get to see him play at Clover Cup, so I'm excited to see how he's doing. But it's really fun to see some hometown folks over here all the way in Oregon.
I didn't know that Sweet Pea's stepdad. How does that work out on the track with family aggression and whatnot? They were like, oh, you didn't clean your dishes, taking it out on the track.
I don't know. I love it, but the family that skates together, I don't know, stays together, and it's working for them.
Apparently. All right, we are off. 82-28 palindrome jammer numbers to start the game, and your lead jammer is Topher Griffin in the gray for Bridgetown.
Dr. Feelgood on his initial pass, resetting to the back, hopping his way on the inside. He is through on his initial pass. Jammer ref for Texas currently is Cataclysm. She is also from Austin. Jam is called. We have a quick, I think, 4 points. Yes, 5 points for Bridgetown.
3.
And 3 for Texas. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. That was a switch on the scoreboard. 3 total for Bridgetown and 0 for Texas.
So over here at the broadcast booth, we have this really weird angle that we're looking at the scoreboard at. So if it sounds a little funny compared to what's on your screen, just know we're trying. But it's it's still a really good view. And I'm looking forward to seeing what these jammers do right off the line. Some very aggressive play. Sausage taking on Tally. Sausage sending Tally out of bounds and doing this number where he pulls all the way back around the track. And Tally now has to start all over again.
I saw this move yesterday with VRDL, but anyway, they brought the pack all the way up to turn 1. He came around half a lap backwards and threw, ooh.
Oh my goodness, look at that defense right there. Bridgetown, 24-68 D-Bots. Relentless, and now Sausage through the pack and is your lead jammer for Bridgetown. Tally still caught up in that mix. And they have to let him go.
He's through. That was his initial pass. Extra work for him because he had to go all the way around to the back of the pack. Yes, but he is through.
Got some spills happening right at turn 3, going to the infield. Sausage calls it off after a few points. Just joking, no points.
There they go.
Man, I did that all day yesterday too.
5 more points for him. 8 points total for Bridgetown. Texas holding at 0. Now we're on jam 3. And that is Austin jamming for Bridgetown. Texas, that's the enabler. The enabler through. That's 3 lead jams in a row for Bridgetown. Oh, no pass, no penalty. Not in the lead jam, but he is the jammer in the lead. The enabler still on his initial pass. He's doing a little jammer and jammer blocking at the back of the pack.
Texas with 2 in the penalty box. Oof. 1 for a forearm. I think the number is actually wrong on our screen, but that's okay.
Austin threw on a scoring pass. Enabler still on his initial. Lead jammer said it's still up for grabs, but he has to get through the pack. Oh, track cut penalty being called on the enabler.
Not what Texas wants to see right now, but it's exactly what Bridgetown wants because now they can run away. Very physical pack up at between turn 3 and 4.
It's a 3rd scoring pass for Austin.
5 points on that pass. Total of 15 so far for Bridgetown just in this jam alone.
Bridgetown doing a good job of splitting up the blockers.
Yeah. Texas, nice follow through there, but out of play penalty is declared on Texas's number 9.
Rhino.
Thank you.
So power jam over.
Forearm penalty being called on Bridgetown, number 142. Jamaican Psycho.
Great name.
And it looks like Austin's still caught up in that pack, the enabler is still caught up in that pack trying to get through on that initial pass, and he kind of sneaks through nearly on his knees. 4 more points on that pass for Austin. Total of 24?
Yes, looks like a 24. But yep, Austin, okay.
Oh, beautiful. Nice attempted tuck right there by Austin, but he basically got sat on. By Diamond. Oh no, just joking, wasn't Diamond. That was out of Sausage.
So let's see. It looks like still 24 total, but Texas on the scoreboard with 3 points. Oh, 28 points on that run for Austin.
And we are off to the races, ladies and gentlemen.
I believe it is 34-3.
Sure. We're gonna go with that. Right on.
Yeah, the screen is it's cloth material, so it's wrinkly, so it's warped numbers for us. So it's like I'm on hallucinogenics. but
we
think
swear we're not. No. Just coffee. That's all.
A whole lot of cold brew.
But we're seeing a timeout on the track currently being called by Texas. Texas just now getting on the board with 3 points. So taking some time to say, okay, what worked, what didn't. And they are now fielding number 56, Danger Zone, as their jammer, and Bridgetown sending out number 82, Topher Griffin once again.
4-2 pack advantage for Texas, so let's see if they could shift this momentum. Bridgetown seems to have so far just controlling this game, but it's so early in this game, it really still is. I mean, anything can happen, guys, you know.
You know how this works.
Yes.
Very tight scrum start with 2 Bridgetown blockers in the box, and it seems like Danger Zone just standing there waiting like, come on, guys. You move first. Who's going to blink first? And Topher goes for it, gets sent out of bounds nearly to the crowd, now being forced to pull back by G.I. Joel. Back to turn 4. Another follow-through hit sent out of bounds by Steve Sweat. And we have Texas sending number 6, G.I. Joel, to the penalty box for a back-blocking penalty. And your lead jammer for Bridgetown, once again, Topher Griffin.
Dr. Feelgood out on his initial pass. I'm sorry, danger zone out on his initial pass. Jam is called, though. Texas held to 0 points on this run.
4 points for Bridgetown, calling it off. 38-3. It's been a very defensive, very physical game, and I'm actually kind of surprised at the number of penalties that we've seen already. We're only heading into jam number 5, and we've already got both teams with at least 3 players that have been in the box. Nobody's been more than once just yet, but it is still very early. 2 cutting calls, 1 back block, 1 cutting call. And now our jammers are number 28 from Texas. That is Dr. Feelgood.
And Austin back on the jam line for Bridgetown.
Austin's heading to the penalty box. Ostentatious.
Ostentatious. First power jam for Texas. Let's see what Dr. Feelgood can do.
Oh my goodness, people being thrown all over the place. It turned 2. Nice spin move by Dr. Feelgood on the inside, and he is declared lead jammer. Full complement of blockers for both teams. And everybody focusing on Dr. Feelgood right now. Beautiful spin move to the outside, trying to get around number 512 Cosmo Damage. He sent out of bounds at turn 3. No points on that pass.
That means it's starting the section 38 for Bridgetown, 3 for Texas. As we get to jam 6 of the first half. Tally back on the jam line for Texas. Power start for Texas. Austin. Oh, we have Austin and Ostentatious. That's why I'm confused. So Ostentatious still in, he's standing, so he has under 10 seconds left of his penalty.
Oh, that's not fair. They're on the same team.
I know, and they're not even Texas.
Way to confuse us, guys. Ostentatious now out of the penalty box with rockets on his feet. Your lead jammer for Bridgetown, Ostentatious, and number 7, Tally, jamming for Texas.
Ostentation already threw for a grand slam for Bridgetown.
Tally getting tangled up in that tripod of Bridgetown blockers right in front of the pivot line, yet to make that initial pass, while Ostentatious is, and very physical trapment going on here.
Pack is split to both ends of this track.
I believe that is D-Bots with that super physical blocking, and now being sent to the penalty box for said physical blocking.
4-2 pack advantage for Texas. Oh, and power jam for Bridgetown. Tally will sit out for up to 30 seconds. He cannot take advantage of this pack situation, unfortunately, for him.
But Ostentatious looking to take advantage of any sort of advantage he has out on that track, but isn't able to break through that Texas box formation and decides to call it off. We'll have a power jam start for Sausage. 13 points on that last jam for Ostentatious.
Never mind.
JK, guys.
Yeah, Texas almost fielded a jammer, but it is a power start for Bridgetown.
51, I'm on Burgundy, to 3. We think that's what it is. 21 minutes left in the half, and right out of the gate, like a rocket.
Sausage, lead jammer for Bridgetown.
Bridgetown familiar with that lead jammer position. Out of the box now on his initial pass. That's Tally, number 7 from Texas. Pat getting a little spread out, lots of fast footwork out there. Tally trying to duck past that last blocker, and he gets a forearm penalty.
Oh.
And man, that's tough with D-Bots because he's so physical, and trying to jut around him, he's just everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
So agile.
Ooh. Meanwhile, Sausage threw again another scoring pass. 5 more, that's 5 points. Actually, that's his first scoring pass, so that took a little bit of time.
Loose wheel in the penalty box for Bridgetown, now standing and Texas with a 4-3 pack disadvantage. And Bridgetown still on a power jam. Tally stands, and they shut him out for a one more jam.
Yes,
Bridgetown taking 5 more points.
He will start this next one from the penalty box. 3rd jam in a row due to penalties. Two penalties in a row for Tally. But we have 61-3, Bridgetown holding on to their lead.
So this is actually Tally's 3rd jam in a row to be the jammer, but he spent most of that time in the box, unfortunately. And out on the line for Bridgetown, that is number 17, Austin, not to be confused with ostentatious. And we've got a piece of equipment out down on the track. It looks like it might be a cap to a pad or something.
Lead jammer status going to Austin.
And Tally out of the box and pulls off the helmet cover en route to the pack. Not sure if it's gonna be a stash or a pass, and I'm thinking it's a pass because the pivot is off and running.
Star pass to number 86,
Buster.
Buster giving a sassy look to Austin as he passed him.
And the pack decided to sprint.
Oh, yeah.
The entire pack decided to sprint. Looks like 0 points on that last pass for Bridgetown. Texas hasn't scored since jam number 3. 64-3, our current scoreboard, we think, says. And out on the line now, we've got number 82 for Bridgetown, Topher Griffin. For Texas, number 151, the Enabler. 4-3 pack advantage for Texas, and we have an old school start up at the pivot line. Jammers take off. Turn 1, lots of kerfuffle. And pushing out to that outside lane. Enabler forced to recycle, and he gets through. Enabler is your lead jammer for Texas.
This is the second lead jam for Texas.
First one for Enabler.
Yes.
He's currently in his 2nd start as the jammer, and we have people flying all over the track near the apex, and a forearm penalty is called on Texas's pivot number 448 in Pound Town. Meanwhile, Enabler gets 4 points. And okay, so interesting to see Bridgetown, Topher Griffin really being cautious with the penalties. I've seen him now twice on his knees trying to determine if he's safe or not, then crawl out of bounds just in case.
And Enabler, meanwhile, quick grand slam, but Topher Griffin is out of the pack as well, scoring a 4 for himself and his team.
Both jammers hit the pack, both pivots in the box, and just as I say that, Texas pivot is released. And we have a 12-6 jam. Texas coming out on top of that one. The Enabler breaking that scoreless streak for Texas. Score is currently 70-15. And we're heading into jam number 10.
First time jamming for this bout, that is Sweet Pea jamming for Texas.
And I believe that is Freak Style.
First time jamming for him as well for Bridgetown. Freak Style topped out of bounds by 247. That is the Hollywood Hendrick. Oh no, power jam for Bridgetown. Sweet Pea will sit out for up to lead jammers. For up to 30 seconds.
We're just so excited.
Yes, lead jammer status going to Freaktown.
Power jam.
Freak Style.
Power jam for Bridgetown, a position they're familiar with. And it looks like we're clearing some debris from the track. And an official timeout is called for said debris to be cleared from the track. That means, who is this official timeout brought to us by, Muffin?
This official timeout is brought to us by you. It's brought to you by the acclaimed Rydell Solaris. Solaris, the performance you demand, the comfort you've been missing. Also, hit this. Derby gear and everything you need to get rolling, from skates to protective gear and unmatched service for all your derby needs. Before you hit the track, hit this.
75-15. Still a fair amount of time left in the first half. For those of you just joining us, I'm Scarlett Ahurtya.
And I'm Muffin Tumble.
And you are watching Texas men's roller derby take on the Bridgetown Menace. Texas in the black, Bridgetown in the gray. We have our referees as well. Oh, I think it was oh no, that's not good. It looks like it was the light bulb from a photographer's flash bulb that broke on the track. So they're trying to get all of that glass off. It's right outside of turn 3, right in the path of the Bridgetown bench. So very important that we get all of that debris off the track, and even on the outer lanes, because that stuff just goes everywhere.
Oh, wait, when it breaks, it's so fine. Minuscule pieces. Sharp, dangerous pieces.
And we don't want anybody using that as contraband or, no competitive advantage here because you found some glass shards. So it looks like we have a few of the Texas players out in the audience as well, wearing their jerseys to support, maybe not rostered, but Texas men's. This is definitely a different showing than we saw at Clover Cup, but they are taking on the number 2 team in MRDA.
Oh, yes. I see Princess out there. Princess is fabulous, and we love him. I miss him so much. He used to live in Austin, and he's just such a great spirit.
That is such an Austin statement. Oh, my God.
So, power start for Bridgetown. As we get started, it's going to be ostentatious jamming. Yes.
We should start calling one Austin and one Tatious.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
That's one way we can tell them apart.
So, Sweet Pea in the penalty box standing, so under 10 seconds left of his penalty. Ostentatious caught up at the front of the pack. Oh, good job of resetting by Texas. Okay, he's through backwards and through for lead jammer status for Bridgetown. Ostentatious.
For someone so long and tall, he did these teeny tiny little backwards crossovers to get past those last 2 Texas defenders. So big movements are what we're seeing a lot in this game, but he's making these small movements make the difference. Speaking of small movements, Sweet Pea with a beautiful double spin move at turn 3 in order to get past those last couple of Bridgetown blockers.
Oh yeah, those are some fancy moves by Sweet Pea. Penalty jam over. Empty penalty box, so full complement of blockers and jammers for this next jam.
3 points on that last jam for Bridgetown before they call it off, 78-15. I think everybody's still kind of shaking off the dust from that rather lengthy official timeout due to the glass cleanup on the track. Looks like we have number 11, Sausage, taking on 28, Dr. Feelgood. Jammers taking opposing paths through that pack right off the line. Sausage on the outside, Dr. Feelgood on the inside. I just said that totally backwards, sorry. Dr. Feelgood looks like he might come out in front. Oh, and he gets shoved to the infield. Once again, that super physical blocking by D-Bots seems to provide a bit of an offensive assist as well as Sausage now through that pack and is your lead jammer.
Sausage asking the official to give a penalty. It looked like an elbow to the blocker from Texas, but that did not happen. No penalty was called.
Nice double team, triple team, super physical blocking by Mr. Taco. Oh, and a forearm penalty is called on Texas's number 68, Diamond. And Sausage fought for that pass.
It was a good hit. I don't know. It looked great from here. We have a great view of that action right there. It was right there on turn number 4.
Sausage now contending again with that Texas tripod in the front, and Dr. Feelgood with a star stash in order to get through that pack. Puts the star back on his helmet, is now on a scoring pass, and Sausage says, "I'll have none of that, sir." 5 points on that pass for Sausage. Total of, I believe, was it only 10? I guess it was only 10. Because he really fought on that one.
He did. Okay, so 4-3 pack advantage for Bridgetown. Danger zone back on the jam line against.
No. Gotta be danger zone.
And Sausage is back.
Actually, I think
17,
that's Austin.
I'm
That's
sorry.
Austin, not Tatious, just Austin.
Oh my goodness.
And to make it even more confusing, their numbers are 7 and 17 for Austin and Ostentatious. So thanks, guys. Lead jammer is Austin. And we have, I believe that's Sweet Pea. Yeah, Sweet Pea heading to the penalty box from Texas. So Austin, 5 points on that pass. But now, danger zone, out of the pack and eligible to score points. He may have grabbed one before that jam was called. Looks like Austin's going to take 3. Texas takes 0. So Bridgetown, we're not seeing a lot of really big double-digit jams. It's just chipping away little by little, slow and steady, to make that huge point differential. We're heading into jam number 14. And the score, Muffin?
It is 96-15. I believe 96. It could be 98. 8 points on that last jam.
I think it's a 6.
Okay, good. And 12 minutes left in the first half.
And before we can even get out what the score is, number 82 from Bridgetown, Topher Griffin, is your lead jammer. And now the enabler has made his way through that pack as well. Jam is called. Pack very spread out there toward the end, and Texas is going to be starting mighty short on this next jam as their pivot and 2 blockers are in the penalty box at the moment.
Sweet Pea standing, so under 10 seconds for his penalty. Bridgetown reaching the century mark, 100 points for Bridgetown, 15 for Texas.
I think Texas is still deciding if they're going to field Tally or if the enabler wants to go again, but it looks like they're going to stick with Tally and Freak Style going to jam now, this time for Bridgetown. Before I can finish saying his name, he grabs lead jammer status.
Freak Style. Freak Style sneaking through. Did you see that?
Fast feet, beautiful. But so we give credit to the jammer, of course, for that dynamic, really explosive skating. But that was a beautiful offensive assist, very subtle by Bridgetown, clearing just a few inches for their jammer to get through.
Oh, and look at the offense again, opening up that open lane.
But he gets swallowed up by that tag team of Texas blockers.
Yeah, that was Pound Town.
And Sweet Pea, I believe.
Yeah, the great way to catch them and say, no, you're not going to open that lane. We're shutting you down. But they did manage to put 5 more points on the scoreboard, 105 for Bridgetown.
108
yes.
for Bridgetown, 15 for Texas. You sneaky NSOs, you. And now out on that line, we have a 3-all pack with Ostentatious jamming for Bridgetown, going up against Dr. Feelgood.
Ostentatious already through for lead jammer status. Bridgetown just really quickly getting lead jammer status for the past 3 in a row, just within seconds.
Bridgetown with a full complement of blockers now, and it looks like there's a few seconds left on the penalty for Hollywood Hendricks. So Texas is going to start this one short, 4-3 pack advantage for Bridgetown. And we got a little shuffling going on the track. Sassarge going to be jamming for Bridgetown, going up against number 56 for Texas Danger Zone. And I swear I won't do the Archer Danger Zone every time, but it's just too fun.
I know, we need the Top Gun theme. Dun, 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 dun.
Highway to
The Danger Zone.
I swore to somebody yesterday I would not sing on the mic, so I'm sorry I've broken my promise, but Sassarge holding up his end of the bargain, grabbing lead jammer status for Bridgetown as Loose Wheel gets sent to the penalty box. So Texas currently at a pack advantage, but they had this lovely wall right before turn 3, taking about 3 lanes. Sassarge just seemed to come and part the waters.
He did. Successful star pass. That is
Sweet Pea.
Sweet Pea. Jamming for Texas through with the initial pass. Sassarge looking back. Of course. He's like, no, we're going to hold you at 15 points for as long as possible.
2 points on that last pass for Sassarge, and Bridgetown 119-15. We're heading into jam number 18. Loose Wheel now standing in the penalty box, and we have the enabler back on the line for Texas, and Austin, not to be confused with Ostentatious, now jamming for Bridgetown. Very interesting pack formation out of the gate. We have 2 Bridgetown blockers back at the jam line, the rest of the pack all the way to the front. And of course, when 5 seconds gets called, they regroup. And the enabler shoved to the infield there. Nice hit by number 56, M. Jensen for Bridgetown. Tripod formation in the back. Texas trying to send an offensive assist from Steve Sweat. And Bridgetown's pivot number 99, defensive destroyer, sent to the penalty box. And look at this, Texas with lead jammer status.
The third lead jam for this half for Texas. Austin out of the pack as well. Oh, he's like, we're going to hold you to 0 points on this jam, and this may very well be the...
Yay, broke the streak. 3 points for, sorry, I almost said Sweepy. It was and I can't talk right now. Who was that jammer muffin?
Sweepy.
Out of it.
Right now it's the enabler. It was the enabler.
Okay. So Texas breaks that scoring...
Yeah.
The lack of scoring streak, I should say.
And it was the only jam that Bridgetown so far hasn't scored in. So they held them. They held them to 0.
Not letting your opponent get any points is just as important.
Oh, yeah. So that's Tally jamming for Texas at the back of the pack.
We've got a tag team of Bridgetown blockers, number 512, Cosmo Damage, anchoring that defense. And your lead jammer from Bridgetown is Topher Griffin once again. And just as their pivot leaves the box, Bridgetown sends another blocker to the box. That's number 12, Tommy Gunn. Oh no, we have a power jam now for Topher. Pat getting very spread out in that straightaway between turn 2 and 3.
Jam is called. Bridgetown will be icing the jammer in the penalty box. That'll be Topher starting this jam from the penalty box. And we have Ostentatious back on the jam line for Bridgetown. 4-3 pack advantage for Texas. Power jam for Bridgetown.
How many power jam starts have we had for Bridgetown thus far?
This will be number 4. I believe number 4.
And that can be such a huge difference, not only because of obviously your point scores on the track, but you've been on that bench. You know what it feels like to have that mental space where you're getting frustrated. And I wonder if that's affecting their bench at all.
Oh, yeah, they need to shake it off, get it out of their head, and start each jam like it's a brand new game. But lead jammer status going to Ostentatious.
In stereo. Ostentatious, beautiful spin move on the outside. He's one that he takes up a lot of space on the track whenever he gets a really wide stance. But because he's so tall and thin, he can squish into these spaces and make these really tight turns with ease.
Oh, yeah, and the pack was spread between turns 1 and 2 as they were waiting for oh, no. Okay, look at now.
Tripod of Texas defenders shoving Tatious to the infield.
Sweet Pea back at the penalty box as pivot. 3-2 pack advantage for Texas.
And look at this, Tally makes that initial pass. I'm curious to see if Ostentatious is going to call it or if he's going to let Tally attempt to get some points. No, of course not. Of course he's not going to let him attempt to get some points. Silly Scarlett, why would I say that? 5 points for Bridgetown on that last jam. But hey, that was a solid defensive effort right there for Texas. Really sturdy tripod at turn 2, holding back Ostentatious for quite some time, only allowed him to make one scoring pass. And that was a, solid defensive effort. So out on the jam line now on the offensive side, we're going to have number 28, Dr. Feelgood for Texas, and number 101, Freakstyle for Bridgetown. Wow. Beautiful jump there by Freakstyle. And he kind of, I don't know how to say, he kicked through the air, looked like a dance move.
Yeah, high knee
switch
jump.
Leap. Switch leap.
Yeah, and landed it beautifully inbounds through, and he's already through, tapped out of bounds.
Holy the speed of that pack just now, it was just chaos. And I honestly thought Dr. Feelgood was going to get through because he came so close and he was ducked down so low underneath those defenders that I really thought he was going to get through. But that pack sped up, and they say otherwise. Bridgetown coming out of that one with 3. Texas with 0 scores currently 136. I'm on Burgundy. 218. And we just have a couple minutes left in the first half. Now, spin move off the line for Danger Zone. He's facing off against Bridgetown. I believe that's Sausage.
Whoever it is, he is your lead jammer.
It's Sausage.
Yes.
Sorry, I got distracted by the spin move. Very tight pack right at turn 2. Texas with that tripod. Now that's an okay, so this is something really interesting. Oh no, I'll come back to that. But we have Dr. Feelgood heading to the, I'm sorry, not Dr. Feelgood, Danger Zone heading to the penalty box, and a high block penalty being called on number 505 side of Sausage. But Sausage, one thing I've seen him do a fair bit whenever Texas has that reverse triangle defense that seems to be one of their top defensive strategies, is he puts his arms over the defenders and kind of thrusts forward with his core. And that's what allows him to break up that tripod.
Yeah. Oh, my God. So Texas using maximum use of that penalty box. 4-2 pack advantage for Texas, for Bridgetown, and power start for Bridgetown. So Danger Zone will start this next jam from the penalty box. He is joined by 86, Buster, and can you see that?
Side of Sausage.
Side of Sausage.
All by his lonesome out on the track for Bridgetown. That is number 17, Austin. And Bridgetown just kind of taunting the Texas blockers right now. Nice follow through there by Texas's number 247, Hollywood Hendrick. But your lead jammer is Austin.
Power jam over. The pack speeds up to turn 2. But Danger Zone is through on his initial.
Nice spin move to get out of the pack. Looks like Austin's looking for some guidance from his bench, whether or not to call off the jam. 4 points on that pass. And Danger Zone. I think they're thinking about giving him points, but I'm not entirely sure. 4 points for Bridgetown.
Around 155 points for Bridgetown.
Yeah, Cataclysm confirming no points for Austin. For Texas. See, I'm all confused. You're from Austin. We got Austin and Ostentatious, and then Texas, and can't keep them straight. Meanwhile, Ostentatious out on the jam line. He's going up against the Enabler. Enabler caught behind a tripod with a float from the Bridgetown defense. And your lead jammer is Mr. Tatius himself. Number 9 from Texas, Rhino, sent to the penalty box right as their pivot is released. Ostentatious with the spin move to the inside at the apex, and look at this. Enabler now out of the pack and eligible to score points as well. Pack off to a sprint. And we have 2 Bridgetown blockers currently occupying that box, so Texas at a small pack advantage here.
Oh, I think he forgot to wait till the penalty box was cleared, so we will have a 3-2 pack advantage for Texas this next jam.
El Dorado and
2, 4, 6, 8.
D-Bots.
D-Bots.
I have actually said his name a fair bit because he's been a really solid blocker for Bridgetown. He's super agile and just gets in people's way. So we have a timeout on the track at the moment. Just kidding, guys. That's halftime.
Oh, wow, this game went so fast. That's so exciting.
This has been a very, very fast game. And I mean that literally and figuratively. Lots of really impressive moves out on the track. We've seen fairly quick pacing and very physical blocking out on the track. And actually, both of the captains are having a bit of a chat right now with the referees. And there's a lot of emphasis being placed on some hand motions. So I think we may be talking about cleaning things up a little bit because it has been a bit of an aggressive game out on the track, which is not a bad thing. Muffin, your take?
Oh, it's always aggressive with the gentlemen, and it's always fun to watch. I know some people, it's not their favorite thing, but I have grown to love watching the men's roller derby. And it's fun to see that they, too, just as the women, they come in all shapes and sizes.
Body positivity. That's what derby is all about. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a quick break. We will be back at you in about 8 minutes. I'm Scarlett Hurtia.
I am Muffin Temple.
are back.
Yes, we are. 7 seconds to party time as both teams have switched benches, approaching the bench, approaching the track. Let's see.
I'm still excited from the first half. So
Really?
we're trying to catch our breath along with the skaters.
So we're starting off 159, Bridgetown 18 for Texas. And it is a big point spread, but it's still a very exciting game. So I love that these guys are keeping it interesting for us. So
Let's talk about penalties. First half, it felt like there were always somebody in the penalty box for either team. Nobody really in trouble. Nobody over 3. Seeing lots of out of play penalties. And we are back to the action. Sausage jamming for Bridgetown. He's going up against Sweet Pea from Texas.
4-3 pack advantage. Bot sitting out for the last few seconds of his penalty. Sweet Pea out on his initial pass. But let's see if they're going to continue their strategy. Oh, I think he got through. Let's see. Texas scoring some points on that pass. That was Sweet Pea, I believe. Maybe.
3. He's got 3. Oh, no. Sorry, they switched refs. JK. We were looking at Cat.
Yep, totally the wrong ref. Okay, 169 to 18 in favor of Bridgetown. I mean, probably 163. There's no way they jumped 10 points. Let me look. Okay, I think it's 162, and I'm so sorry. Hopefully you have a pretty scoreboard on your screen that you could see, and hopefully the stream is running beautifully for you. Next jam, that is Dr. Feelgood for Texas.
Looks like it's Austin for Bridgetown. Austin is your lead jammer. And, oh no, Dr. Feelgood grabs a cutting the track penalty. And so it's going to be a power jam for the Bridgetown Menace.
Ooh. Nice little takeout, but yes, he was up. He was blocking out of bounds. His leg made contact as he was going out of bounds. So penalty for number 448.
Pound Town.
Pound Town.
And he was not happy about that when he came off the track and screamed something I can't repeat on stream. And Bridgetown bench coaches jumping up and down trying to tell Austin to call it off, and he does after 4 points.
And icing Dr. Feelgood in the penalty box, so power start for Bridgetown.
So Muffin, what is it you think that Texas has to do in order to combat the I think Bridgetown's key right now is their defense. Their offense is obviously strong, but defense wins games. So what does Texas need to do to counter this?
They really just need to stop the bleeding and just stop these jammers that continue to get through, get lead jams, score points. That's the only way they could even start to chip away at this lead.
Pack off to a very fast start. Ostentatious now jamming for Bridgetown, takes a big step to the inside after a hit from Texas number 808, Steve Sweat. Full complement of blockers now back onto the track. Oh no, Pound Town takes himself out at turn 3 as he tries to re-enter. And looks like Dr. Feelgood gets through that pack, now eligible to score points, but Ostentatious now on a scoring pass.
He had to work for that lead jammer status, but he did, and he is already halfway through his scoring pass, calling it off. Again, holding Texas to 0. And he himself putting on 1 point.
Hey, that's a win right there. So we were just talking about shutting down the other team's jammer, and I think they did just that. So 173 to 18. We're heading into jam number 4 of this half. You are watching the Texas Men's Roller Derby in the black and the Bridgetown Roller Derby, Bridgetown Menace in the gray. I'm Scarlett O'Hurta.
And I am Muffin Tumble.
And who are these jammers out on the line?
That is Tally in black jamming for Texas.
And Freak Style in gray jamming for Bridgetown. And Freak Style, Freaky Fast, gets through that pack, and he's your lead jammer. Meanwhile, Tally still battling it out on the track. Now, Tally is one that whenever he's had the jammer star on, has ended up in the penalty box a fair number of times.
And Freakstyle taking a huge hit at turn number 2, but he's right back up. He just rolled with it, hopped back up, and continued on his way. Second scoring pass, Apex hopped through for 5 more points for Bridgetown.
Hops, leaps, and jumps, not just for Apexes anymore.
He just did it again.
Oh my God, D-Bots. Oh my goodness, he's such a solid blocker. He's so agile, so low to the ground. He can't be more than 10 inches off the ground when he squats low like that. And I don't know what that action just was.
That was beautiful.
They were playing Twister on the outside.
Total Twister matrix move as he stayed in bounds. You can put one hand out of bounds and stayed in.
Yes,
and,
but he was doing a backbend over tally. I don't think that's fair.
Oh, they called him for something, so he'll sit out. Naughty 30 seconds for
I think they made up a new penalty for that. Like, just go. Holding. Wait, that's not a thing.
Tally taken out of bounds, returning all the way back. They're going to take him all the way to almost turn number 1.
15 points so far for Freak Style. And he's being forced to pull back to the apex. Tally makes it through. I believe he got swallowed back up on his initial pass. And an official review is very likely about to be called by Bridgetown. I think they're probably going to challenge a lack of a cutting the track penalty. Pretty early in the second half, but I mean, if you think it's going to make a difference.
Yeah, it's a 190 for Bridgetown.
You do you. They have 8 seconds to make it official before we move on. 17 points on that last jam for Bridgetown. And now we see Sausage back out on the track. Looks like they're not going to do the official review after all. And the Enabler.
Enabler at the front of the pack. Oh!
Beautiful teamwork there. Number 619, Aquadan, tag teaming with, I believe that was Rhino. Oh, no, just joking. That was, it was Rhino. Holding back Sausage. No small feat at all. Nice offensive assist there by D-Bots in the front. And, whoa, we got leapfrog going on.
Sausage through. It took him 30 seconds. He is your lead jammer, but look at that hot on his heels. That's the Enabler.
Loose wheel just kind of hanging out on the track after getting taken out. Sausage choosing to do much the same. just sit down, take a breather. 190 to 18 currently the score. No points for either team on that last jam. So Texas is doing something to step up that defense, Muffin, because we're already heading into jam number 6, and we really haven't seen the points change that much here in the second half.
Yep, about 41 points for Bridgetown, and Texas 0 points.
56 is the number for Texas. That is Danger Zone, who is now your lead jammer for Texas.
First lead jam for Texas the second half of this game. And is it a power jam?
Yes, it is a power jam for Texas. I believe that was a cutting the track penalty called on Austin. And he is joined by Texas's number 448, Pound Town. And Texas now with a pack disadvantage, as 2 of their blockers are currently in the penalty box. Steve Sweat joining his teammate. And so we have a power jam on the track, but let's see if he can take advantage of it. Looks like he's on that first scoring pass, pushing, trying to get by on that outside lane. Spin move, grabs his 5 points and calls off the jam. First blood for Texas in the second half, right?
Yes, it is. 5 whole points. And Danger Zone, great moves of getting low, tucking and rolling under. He had to do it 3 times, but it worked. He got through everyone and called off the jam.
I got to give props to that blocker, though, that was adapting to every single move that Danger Zone made.
Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in.
It's also kind of different to see how much these teams, for whatever reason, are not as reliant on their toe stops. They tend to use the entire skate a little bit more. But anyway, physical pack out on that track. And whistles being blown all over the place. Your lead jammer straight out of the penalty box.
Austin.
Not ostentatious.
But Dr. Feelgood also out, and they are running neck and neck up to the
Dr.
pack.
Feelgood might have gotten some points on that one.
He's showing his points to his ref.
2 all. 2 all. 2 for each team. Beautiful effort there by Dr. Feelgood. So Texas chipping away, and we have the battle of the sevens out on the track. Number 7 for Texas is Tally, and I think he's being replaced. So just kidding, not the battle of the sevens. Ostentatious, however, from Bridgetown still keeping his jammer spot. But Texas choosing to put in the enabler instead. Bridgetown and Texas starting on the pivot line, but opting to pull back Bridgetown's tripod.
Pack spread out to, looks
That's
like
gotta be
over
50
40.
feet,
Yeah, 50
yeah.
feet for sure. But Austin
Tatious.
is out. He is your lead jammer. Enabler caught at the back of the pack. Everyone going down. A nice gymnastic move by Rhino to get back up.
They must do yoga.
They must. These guys are.
Cutting the track penalty called on the enabler. So now the tables have turned and it will be a power jam for Bridgetown. Bridgetown with a grand slam on this pass. Pack regrouping. We have the pivot for Texas trapped in the back of the Bridgetown gray wall. He's now out and bridging for his defenders. And we've got blockers going up against each other. D-Bots trying to break up these walls, and he's small enough he can squeeze into those spaces and do that. Ostentatious, though. Nice move there.
Beautiful move. Spun in air, landed inbounds, continued on his way, scored the points, called off the jam. So we have a power start.
And then he dropped the mic.
Yep, yes he did. Enabler iced in the penalty box. He will start from the penalty box. As we have 101 freak style jamming for Bridgetown.
Enabler still in that penalty box. And Bridgetown with a very distinct defensive formation. Looks like they're going to try and sweep everyone out so that Freakstyle can just get by on that inside lane. But Texas with the follow-up.
Oh, that was amazing.
Number 808 from Texas, Steve Sweat with the agility.
Tippy toe matrix landing right on the line, staying in bounds, so he had to return behind them. But, another takeout. Great move.
Not that time on Pound Town, I believe.
Yep, that was Pound Town. Oh, my God, Texas is very impressive with their moves. Still playing with so much heart out there, but look at 101 freak style.
Pound Town taking down number 512 Cosmo Damage, who is one of the more formidable blockers from Bridgetown's roster. And guys, it is not time for leapfrog.
Chest bumps all the way.
I have never seen this many backbends in a derby game before, because there have been at least 3 in the last 2 jams.
Yep. And Enabler iced again will start his third jam from the penalty box. Third jam in a row, starting from the penalty box. Power start for Bridgetown.
And Sausage is who they choose to field. Full complement of blockers for both teams. And we're probably looking at that same, well, no, we're actually looking at a different formation. So Bridgetown grouping up to swallow up the entire Texas defensive formation, and it seems to work. They do have a couple of Texas blockers that get free, but they're no match for Sausage and that speed and agility. Sausage.
Really just taking the hits and rolling with it. No one seems to stop him, but he is caught up. He's through again. Power gem over. Enabler at the back of the pack at turn 2.
So explosive that his movements are just impressive. And D-Bots heading to the penalty box.
He's back. What is he at right now? We've seen his back right in front of us quite a few times for penalties.
I think this is either number 4 or number 5.
Sausage. Oh, he made that look so easy. Another little apex hop through, teasing to call off the jam. And the jam is called.
Now, Sausage, one of those that his elbow pads are so big. I thought he had forearm guards on for a minute, and then I realized they're just really big elbow pads. I don't know why that stood out to me, but it did. And we have a timeout called by Texas. So scores currently 2-14, 9 points on that last jam for Bridgetown, Texas with 25. And this timeout is brought to us by
the WFTDA. Tickets for the 2018 International WFTDA playoffs go on sale June 2018. Get all ticket information at WFTDA.com/tickets.
Bridgetown ready to go as our volunteers hit the track to try and see if any maintenance is required. D-Bot's currently in the penalty box and moving around like a little kid waiting at a table, like tap, 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 move my feet, move my feet, move my feet. Maybe that explains why he's so jumpy in the pack and so agile. He's just always moving.
Yep, all that pent-up energy.
Out next on the jam line, we have for Texas, Sweet Pea going up against
Austin. It's a 4-3 pack advantage for Texas.
Texas opting for a 4-wall start as Bridgetown starts in that tripod. And Texas, I'm trying to break down what they're doing, but it's kind of multifaceted. However, both jammers off to the races. Woo! Bridgetown gets lead, but Sweet Pea is actually the jammer in the lead. However, lead jammer Austin opts to call it off after he was taken out in the straightaway by Sweet Pea. 0 points for either team on that last jam, and we will now see Ostentatious going up against Danger Zone. I'm waiting for the day that I announce with another announcer whose name is Lana or something like that. So if it ever happens to be a Texas game, all the Archer jokes will ensue. Ostentatious off to a quick start. Sprinting to the front, has 2 more Texas defenders to get past, anchoring that defense. Diamond at the front.
One-man army of Diamond doing a great job holding him back.
He really is. 15 seconds gone. And Texas trying to bridge. Rhino still about, I want to say 18 feet back. And they have to let him go. Ostentatious now your lead jammer for Bridgetown, as Texas has their last blocker from the penalty box rejoined. So full complement for both teams right now. And Danger Zone gets through that pack on that initial pass. He's one of those that he kind of crawls. He's not really crawling because his knees aren't touching the ground, but he is so low, you think he's falling, so you can't engage him. Mm-hmm. It's that low stepping.
Yeah, great moves. And okay, the jam is called, but great action in that pack right there. Again, Diamond, Austin came around, and Diamond, he had to face Diamond again. Diamond's doing great. I don't know. I'm a fan. I'm definitely
just
a fan.
fangirling. No big deal. Just
yeah.
fangirling.
Dr. Feelgood back on the jam line for Texas.
And hey, this is a new face for
is.
Bridgetown, El Dorado. And different strategies for these two jammers out of the gate. Dr. Feelgood tries to take the outside, but is shoved out of bounds before turn 1. And El Dorado, wasting no time, grabs the jammer status right at turn 2. As Dr. Feelgood still trying to make that initial pass, and Bridgetown losing 2 blockers to the penalty box simultaneously.
Dr. Feelgood taking advantage of that 4-2 pack advantage. He is through us on his initial.
But El Dorado grabs 5 points as Dr. Feelgood tries to catch up. That is a tiny pack.
There's no one on the track.
And we had a Superman dive out of bounds by Dr. Feelgood after he was sent airborne by one of the Portland blockers.
And then he's a look on his face like, you're going to let him do that to me?
I don't know if it was that or if it was disappointment that he didn't do that move on a slip and slide. But hey, he got 3 points.
He sure did. 28 for Texas.
And okay, so 3 points for Texas on that last one, 8 for Bridgetown, and we have an official review out on the track being called, I believe, by Texas. And this official review brought to us by the social media team. Use hashtag BigO2018 in all your tournament posts this weekend as the official hashtag of the tournament this year. And we'd love to talk to you. You can use the hashtag #2WFTDA on Twitter if you want to engage with us announcer type people. And we will look at your comments, read them. We also accept cat pictures and dog pictures. Or hey, if you got a ferret or a fish or a snake, I don't know, whatever you're into. We're cool. We're fans with fans of derby pets.
Oh, I forgot to mention about the family of Sweet Pea and, or now known as, Sweet Pea, formerly known as PB&J, Aquadan. And then Sweet Pea's brother is Bruiser Lee, who still lives in Austin. And I don't think he's skating with anyone now, but he's a trainer and he's a really great skater too. So they really definitely keep it in the family.
Lots of Texas ties there. So it looks like the referees have conferred. I'm getting spoiled by tournaments that have the mic in the center, so we can figure out what the official review is for directly from the officials. But as of right now, I'm gonna say that they're challenging the lack of style points being awarded to Dr. Feelgood for that sort of baseball slide, slip and slide move that he did to exit that last jam. And I think they're upset that there were no style points awarded. And it looks like, as I'm looking at the board, they may have won their review because I'm seeing that little plus sign. Nope, just joking. They lost it. It's gone. So Texas loses their official review. We're going to assume for lack of style points. And both jammers have now exited the pack. That is Sweet Pea.
And Sausage. Sausage is your lead jammer. Both jammers, jammer on jammer action at the back of the pack.
Sweet Pea manages to get around Sausage. Oh, and he makes the entire pack. Sweet Pea with 4 points. While Sausage has lead jammer status. That is no small feat, people.
Nope, that was some fancy moves. Good job on Sweet Pea.
And he comes off the track and is like, meh. Shoulder shrug.
Texas to 32 points. Bridgetown at 230.
Looks like we have a little under 13 minutes left here in the game. We're heading into jam number 15. Austin now jamming for Bridgetown. And Tally jamming for Texas. Full complement of blockers for Bridgetown, and now Texas has a full complement as number 448 Pound Town now released from the penalty box, and Pound Town is in penalty trouble. He just served his 6th penalty. Oh no, power jam for Bridgetown as Tally is sent back to the penalty box. And that is going to be his 5th penalty. Oh, no, that is his 4th penalty. I take that back. Meanwhile, Austin grabbing 4 points on that pass. Texas in a 2-1 grouping for some reason. I was confused by that pack work just now.
Bridgetown did a good job of splitting up the blockers, but Austin has a great way of, he gets taken out, but he's like, I'm not going out of bounds. He lands and squishes his body to stay in bounds and continue on his way. But he did get 8 points on that run, 238-ish to 32.
230-ish. And Ostentatious now out on the jam line. So once Tally is released, we will have and I think Ostentatious just slapped himself. Yes, you're here. You're playing at Big O. You are not dreaming, my friend. And Tally now out of the penalty box. So we have the battle of the sevens. And Tally hits that pack, and Ostentatious sent out of bounds by Texas. Number 505, I believe, that is Side of Sausage, who was controlling him. And he has yet to exit the pack. Okay, not Side of Sausage, Aquadan. And it took a fair amount of time, but Ostentatious now lead jammer after about 30 seconds. And Texas sending Aquadan and Diamond to the penalty box, probably for an out-of-play penalty.
So 4-2 pack advantage. Here he goes. Round easily. 5 more points for Bridgetown.
We have a star pass. Number 86 from Texas, Buster, going to be taking over as the jammer for the team in black. But before he can get the helmet cover on his helmet, the jam is called.
Oh, J-Bot's back in the penalty box. So 3-2 pack advantage for Bridgetown this next jam. The enabler back on the jam line for Texas. And at his second run, El Dorado jamming for Bridgetown.
3-2 pack advantage for Bridgetown, as Texas still has those 2 blockers in the penalty box. Little kerfuffle off of the line as Sweet Pea Not joking, not Sweet Pea, the enabler, going toe-to-toe with El Dorado. And El Dorado grabs lead jammer status. Pack off to the races. And we have an illegal procedure penalty being called on Aquadan.
Oh, it looks like they're slow skating at the front. Are they holding hands at the
They're
front?
totally holding hands. It's like a figure skating move about to happen any minute. For some reason, Celine Dion just popped into my head. I was picturing like rhinestones. Adam Rippon just comes to mind. I don't know why, but even though he's not a pair skater. Anyway, out on the track, we now have Freakstyle going up against Danger Zone. Score is currently 251-32. We're heading into jam number 18. And Aquadan, the lone blocker in the penalty box at the moment. Bridgetown with a 4-3 pack advantage. Freakstyle trying to step his way through the center of the pack as Danger Zone caught up behind a solid rotating Bridgetown tripod. Sweet Pea pulling back about 20 feet. That looked uncomfortable, but we had an apex jump attempt, and the way that he landed was interesting.
Yes, and then Sweet Pea took his eye off the prize for a second to do a flash of, when he had the jammer behind him. So Freakstyle was managed to get through on the inside lane to get lead jammer status for Bridgetown.
Now Danger Zone out of that pack and eligible to score points. Let's see. Bridgetown has that very sharp pack awareness and always has their eye on the jammer from the other team.
Yeah, they're so quick on that. They're like, no. They know exactly when to call off the jam.
Score is currently 253-32. And all smiles on the bench. We have a timeout called by Bridgetown.
This timeout brought to you by Rydell. Experience world-class edging with the Radar Halo. Available in a full range of hardness from 84A all the way to 103A. There is a halo for everyone.
I mean, I've met some, I know it's, no, never mind. That joke's been overdone. I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to do the, not everybody should have a halo, because Rydell believes you should. So.
It could be tarnished. Tarnished halos for everyone.
It's vintage, okay? Score is remaining where it was the last time that I mentioned it. And we have both teams using this as an opportunity to regroup a little bit. We have two players that are sort of in penalty trouble. On the Texas side, number 448 in Pound Town currently stands with 6 penalties. And D. Bots from Bridgetown, who has been all over the place today, has 5. Not a lot of time left in this game, but everybody playing like it's going to go forever. Ostentatious now jamming for Bridgetown.
Dr. Feelgood jamming for Texas. Dr. Feelgood at the front of the pack, but still caught up behind those Bridgetown blockers. Texas blockers now at the front of the pack. Ostentatious tapped out of bounds. Ooh. The Doctor taking a big hit at turn number 3 or 2.
And we're going in reverse, people. No, you're not hitting rewind on accident. That's what the pack is doing.
All the way high, guys, right in front of us.
They've made nearly an entire rotation of the track. If they hit turn 2, it's literally a full rotation. They were 10 feet away from making an entire reverse rotation around the track.
So Ostentatious at the front of the pack.
So I will give Texas props for being able to match Ostentatious toe-to-toe. Very agile blockers over here. Ostentatious declared lead jammer. But one thing they've got to work on is the following through that hit all the way past the line. Ooh. Because they're getting, the Bridgetown blockers are getting by with literally inches of space because the blocker doesn't finish that push.
Oh, yeah, and that was some great blocking, though. They held him. It took him a full minute to get Lee Jammer status that last time, so that was some
Yes,
work.
absolutely. No, I give them full credit. Absolutely. It's not necessarily a criticism. It's a, hey, this is how we can get better.
Yeah.
Whereas Bridgetown will just go out of bounds with you. There's not, that's fine.
So that's Sweet Pea jamming for Texas against Austin.
Austin and Notatious.
It's 158 to 32.
256.
Oh, sorry. 256. Lee Jammer status going to Austin.
But look at this. Sweet Pea out of that pack and eligible to score points. Making the rounds. And we have Texas trying to form that very loose tripod. D-Bot swinging in to break them up. And I gotta see, I like how Bridgetown uses D-Bots because he's significantly smaller than most of the other players on that team, and they use that to their advantage. And I think a lot of the top teams now, you don't just stick to a strategy because it's a strategy that other people do. You find what is unique and strong about your players and build off of that, as opposed to focusing on where you're deficient. Find your strengths, add to them. We've got a pivot line start, kicking it old school. And El Dorado jamming for Bridgetown.
Against the Enabler.
I believe the Enabler has been responsible for most of Texas's points thus far.
Yeah, he's having a great game. Enabler. Uh-oh, look what's just
oh,
happening.
wait, it's a whip. We saw a whip in the apex. We're going really old school.
Yep, and Lee Jammer status going to Texas. This is their second Lee Jam this second half. Enabler, ooh, hesitating at the back of the pack. That was really
That was
cool.
interesting. It was like stop, collaborate, and listen and go.
Totally.
And we got a break dance to the inside. Man, this like 90s rap that we're hearing is great. We're all just following along with it. And it looks like Enabler flips around backwards, opts to call it off. And El Dorado was hitting the floor right at that very moment. So Texas, with a solid effort on that last jam, shutting down Bridgetown, which hasn't happened very much. And 4 points for the Enabler. Sweet Pea lining up for Texas, going up against number 101 Freestyle. And look at D-Bot. See, that's what I'm saying. He's smaller, so he literally just sways back and forth and then stepped through because he can fit underneath the arms of the opposing blockers.
Oh, yeah, those are some good moves.
He's not the one you try and trap.
No.
He's not going to be trapped. Speaking of not being trapped, Freestyle really trying. But look at this. Again, Texas with lead jammer status.
2 in a row, folks. That is Sweet Pea. Freestyle caught up at turn number 4.
Sweet Pea. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Sweet Pea avoiding a track cut, resetting on 1 foot, back out of inbounds.
Oh, no. Pound Town in the penalty box. This is his 7th penalty. But back to the action on the track. We almost saw a backflip from Freestyle.
Oh, beautiful move. Sweet Pea saving himself for a track cut. You put your left foot in, you put your foot out, he spun around, returned behind.
And he shook it all about.
Yep, defensive destroyer, almost forcing the track cut, but no, he saved himself from that.
So it looks like Pound Town being replaced by Rhino in the penalty box. 3 points for Texas on that last jam.
4-2 pack advantage for Bridgetown.
And it looks like we now have a second Texas player that might be in penalty trouble, currently with 5. That is Rhino. Oh, he's not replacing him, actually. Pound Town being replaced by number 247, Hollywood Hendrick. And there's a timeout called by Bridgetown. The crowd is not happy about Pound Town being ejected. This timeout brought to you by Hit This. Hit This Derby gear has everything you need to get rolling, from skates to protective gear and unmatched service for all of your derby needs. Before you hit the track, hit this. I'm really excited also about what's going on with the WFTDA. Tickets for the 2018 International WFTDA playoffs go on sale in June of this year. Get all your ticket information at WFTDA.com/tickets. How do you think the Continental Cup system is going to impact the way Derby?
Love is getting sprint all over the world, which is very exciting, and it's great to see more of these international teams doing better and better.
And I think when you bring it closer to home, too, especially for teams that are not based in the U.S., it makes it more accessible for everyone.
Well, all those countries are all clustered in a little area in the European side, and they can all play each other. And you could see how they've improved so quickly.
Speaking of improving quickly, Texas really did turn the tides those last 2 jams, but that was really, really interesting. Danger zone.
Rubbing his booty
because he slid down on his booty, but he stayed in bounds, and that's what matters.
He looked like he was just luging down the track.
He really did. Fast feet there. And we didn't even mention it, but Bridgetown actually fielding a non-traditional jammer in number 08, Miller. I think this is the first time we've seen him jamming. He's been a formidable blocker out on the track.
Texas again in penalty trouble, 4-2 pack advantage for Bridgetown. And Sweet Pea will be about to replace the standing blocker. So it's full still as the 4-2 pack advantage continues. Miller is your lead jammer, scoring points for Bridgetown. 35 seconds on the game clock, 50 on the jam clock. Miller, he might just want to run this one out. We'll see what happens. Danger zone tapped out of bounds at turn number 3. Miller held up at turn 2, standing casually. And we had a successful star pass. That is Hollywood Hendrick is now jamming for Texas and through the pack. Jam is called. I believe that would be the game is called. Unofficial score.
277 to 43, 20 points on that last jam for Bridgetown. Texas not going down without a fight, though. 4 points right there at the end. And it did look like we had a couple more Texas players get into penalty trouble here, as number 915, Sweet Pea, ended up with 6. And this is our unofficial final, but man, what a game, Muffin.
What a game indeed. That was exciting. It didn't feel like it was such a huge loss for Texas, because Texas, they really brought it, and I'm excited to see what happens the rest of the season.
I'm also going to throw out there, this game emphasizes the importance of cross-training. And, flexibility is important, not just speed, not just agility, but you need to be able to bend and flex and adapt to things, both literally and figuratively, out on the track. So I think this was a game that was heavily impacted by penalties, and we can see that with all of the penalties on the board. Texas had 4 that were either in danger or full-on ejected. We saw one, not ejected, but we saw one expulsion due to penalties. That was Pound Town number 448, whereas Bridgetown kept it pretty clean. 1 player with 5 penalties, everybody else with 4 or less. So can't win games if you don't have people on the track. Any final thoughts?
Well, no, in a moment here, we are going to have an interview. That's going to be Rich Mahogany. We'll be interviewing a player, I believe, a couple players from Bridgetown. And next up on this track number 1, the next game is going to be arch rival versus Montreal. So great roller derby action. Both teams had good showings yesterday.
We want you to stick around, of course, to see Rich Mahogany's interview here. It looks like he's going to get D-bots. And we'll see how that goes here momentarily. Stick around. We're going to throw over to our friend Rich Mahogany once he has a mic in his hand. And he's going to be speaking with the skater currently wearing the pivot cover for Bridgetown, D-Bots.
So, if you're good with it.
I'm waiting for him to signal me so I don't.
I know we're supposed to get a 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, okay. Well, we hope you guys have enjoyed this. I have been Scarlett O'Hurtya.
And I am still Muffin Tumble.
And we hope to see you back here soon. But now we're going to throw to our friend Rich Mahogany, who is talking to D-Bots.
Welcome back here to Track 1. We are here at the end of the Bridgetown, Texas game. I am joined by D-Bots. I am Rich Mahogany. Bots, great game out there. You guys had a really dominated. You had a 277-43 run against Texas. You guys really, like, the name of the game was your blocking out there. Just lock down those blockers. Had a lot of drawing out the positional penalties, track cuts. How do you guys prep for all that, for all the beautiful shit you did today?
We really focused on getting everybody on the same page, knowing our jam start strategies, knowing what we were doing before we went out onto the track, and all doing it together.
Well, clearly worked out very well for y'all. You only have a few hour break now before you take on the Gatekeepers at 6 o'clock here on Track 1. What's your all plan for taking a little bit of rest and prepping for that game?
Same thing. We know what we're doing before we go out there. We're ready.
Great. Well, and on that note, the last game you all will be playing this weekend will be tomorrow against Denver at 4 p.m. I just like same plan for there. Just like go out there. You have your plan. Got to keep it close to the vest. Don't want to give out any spoilers for that. But anything else of note on that front?
No, they have some pretty fast jammers, so we're preparing for that.
All right, great. Well, that aside, you guys, y'all enjoying the Big O?
Yes, it's a lot of fun here.
What's your favorite part been so far?
The Victorian-Denver game last night.
Very great game. If you haven't checked that one out, that one will be up on the archives later on. Highly recommend you check it out. But I guess that'll just about do it for us. I'll let you get back with the team, de-gear, relax a bit. Bots, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And thank you all for joining us here at the Big O. I've been Rich Mahogany. Stick around for the next game. We've got arch rival taking on Montreal here on Track